Oh man, I'm so sorry I'm not there in person. I'm in the weird no man's land of Didcot
Oh,
Parkway,
Didcot
stuck
Parkway.
on trains and stuff.
Oh
Anyway,
no.
I
Oh
feel like
no.
I'm in a scene from the film, to be honest,
Yeah.
weirdly.
Where are you heading?
I know that
Where are
train
you-
station very
yeah.
well. Were you
Well, I
on
was
your
coming
way
in to
in?
see you. Yeah,
Oh, I see.
yeah. And then the train
Oh,
they stopped the trains for some reason. So I was like, I've got to get off and just be stationary so I could chat to you both.
I'm so sorry that the train stopped. Yeah.
Well, it's better to be here remotely as opposed to not being here at all, because to talk about this glorious gift of a film. Congratulations.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's like the world just needs it right now. It's sort of it's so many things. It would be remiss of me to think I could even get to the kind of part of the soul of it in the time that we have. But I was really interested to find out from both of you kind of what jumped out for you with either the story or the characters immediately that made you want to kind of go, yeah, I'm in.
I think it just that when I first read it, I remember so specifically reading it for the first time, and I didn't know the Stephen King short story, and it's a recent one, so it came to me with a script and a letter from Mike Flanagan, and it was a beautiful and generous letter from Mike, and he said, "I'm not going to tell you anything about this, but please read it. I'd love you to play Chuck." It's called The Life of Chuck. And so I open it at page 1 and I meet Marty, Chiwetel's character. And I'm with Marty living this experience of the mystery. Who on earth is Chuck? Like, who is this guy? Because he's just a question mark. And then when I understood, and I don't want to kind of ruin the mystery, but when I understood what was happening, it was so exciting, and I thought it was so ingenious and so brilliant. And then meeting Chuck in Act 2, and that he presents in the external world as someone we think we know, very ordinary guy, unremarkable perhaps, someone we wouldn't stop twice to look at in the street, an accountant on his way to work, but he stops and listens to the music and responds to the music. And then he just explodes in this expression of freedom. I felt myself just incredibly excited, and I could see it, and I wanted to do it. But mainly it was what the film seemed to be saying, which is that none of us are one thing. That it's about the beauty and breadth inside the soul of every human being. It's about the courage and human connection we need when it feels as though the world is falling apart. And it's about that alongside these experiences in life, like grief and loss and pain that we all encounter, there is, as profound as those things, is joy and love, and that we need that. And it's what we will remember in the last days of our lives. So it was really that expression. I just thought, this is such a unique and original piece of writing. I want to be part of it. Yeah. What about you, Jim?
And what about for you?
Yeah, I think I was just very excited, I mean, right from the beginning when, the Stephen King, adaptation, Mike Flanagan's director, the script arrives and you're like, okay, let's get involved, let's see what's going on. And in that, in that sort of, in exactly the same way that Tom's talking about, the mystery that is there is really intriguing, and I found really entertaining as well. I mean, I was moved by Marty's story and the sense of the apocalypse. It was very wise about people, about this kind of this marrying of acceptance and gratitude within everything sort of falling apart, and to look at the story, to look at these characters beyond the kind of the hysterical nature of an apocalypse, but what happens afterwards when you've still got to deal with the business of the day. You feel the world falling apart, and it was something that I think we'd all experienced to some degree, during COVID, that there wasn't one of us who wasn't concerned for somebody, worried about somebody or ourselves or the circumstances that we were in. And yet somehow dealing with some of that trauma and getting through to the other side where you actually still have to deal with the business of the day, was, I thought, just hadn't been reflected on in quite the way that this was. And so I felt like an audience could really reach some of this and connect to some of it in a really interesting, emotional way. And then there's a moment in it where Marty throws away his phone. And I remember reading that moment, and it's beautifully understated in the film, but I remember reading that moment and having to pause, reading the script and just reflect on all of that, the connection to technology that we all have, how that is such a seismic event, in the modern world. It's like letting go of the boat in the middle of the ocean,
Yeah.
So.
What I love as well, because we see Marty with so many of the other characters in the film, but Chuck's always there with him almost in a way. So we almost kind of I love how we have these kind of two parallels running. So we're seeing Chuck go through his experience through the different expressions and emotions that we see, whether it's in a still or a moving image, on a bus or in a whatever that is. And we see Marty reacting to that sometimes in a way, or kind of questioning it, or it kind of reflecting back on him in a way. It's so clever. It's so brilliantly done. And Tom, am I right in thinking that was day zero?
That's right.
In terms of all that side of it.
Yes. We obviously the billboard is a very important element of the story that Chuck Krantz starts appearing ubiquitously all over the apocalypse. It's the end of the world, but we just need to thank Chuck Krantz.
39 great years.
And it's this unremarkable billboard. It's not very exciting. It's like the photographer was coming around on photo day at the office, and it catches him in he's this ordinary man in an ordinary moment. And everyone's asking, who on earth is this man, and why is he the harbinger of the end of the world? And so Mike and I knew we had to sort of try and get the image right, because it had to seem sort of ordinary, but also at moments maybe take on this quite unsettling quality. And he had this ingenious idea. It was, as I said, day zero. It wasn't even on the filming schedule that I got into costume, and I sat behind a desk in the production office, I think, and we had a stills, we had a camera and also a movie camera, and shot them both at the same time. And he said, why don't you just, see how you feel, be shy and then be a bit more open, and then wonder why the photograph's being taken. And actually we ended up it took us both by surprise. Because we ended up going through a range of a sort of emotional journey that was really unexpected, and he used that across the film. Like that, there are some images of Chuck. He's very bright and sunny and optimistic, and it's an ordinary day in his ordinary life. And then other moments where you see him profoundly moved and aware of the fragility of things. And I love what he's done with those images through the film. That he's that journey, as it were, is relating to Marty and to Felicia, Karen Gillan's character, all the way through.
So you and Karen together as well, it's gorgeous to watch. What a beautiful chemistry you guys have. With that, the truthfulness that just pours off the screen with the two of you is wonderful to watch.
It was really exciting thank you. It was wonderful to work with her, because Karen is somebody who brings all of the subtext and all of the dynamics of the relationship right into the moment. And actually the telephone conversation that we have which is this lengthy telephone conversation that we have, was my first day of shooting. And as soon as she was in reality upstairs, but obviously she's at the other end of the phone, and in the film she's a little way away. And but the moment I heard her voice, the moment she started speaking, it was so dropped. It was just so dialed in to their kind of emotional connection, and it felt so honest. And she, as a screen partner, she's just so generous. and it was so full. So I was, I was just really, and that was my first day. So I knew that relationship was going to have a lot of the kind of texture that it wanted.
How much fun did you have on the dance scene, Tom? I mean, it just with the Pocket Queen and her drumming to start with.
She's
just
unbelievable.
I was so vocal watching this film as well. Like I was kind of laughing and really audibly responded to stuff. And then with the drums start as well, you're almost levitating out of your seat in a way, sort of thing as well. So I can't imagine what it was like for you on set.
It was
it choreographed or was it freestyle?
It was a mixture of the two. We had to find a way of keeping it consistent because we had to cover it from, lots of different. Mike he wanted it to feel like a tribute to like the great dance sequences of the old musicals of the golden age of Hollywood. That there was Gene Kelly in there and Fred and Ginger, and that not just in the steps of my dancing, but also in the way the camera was moving, so that you felt the things that Chuck loved when he discovered dance were also in there. But yeah, it was one of the most joyful, happiest, thrilling working experiences of my whole life. It was so enjoyable and so fun, and I had amazing choreographers in Mandy Moore and Stephanie Powell. Mandy's based in the States and Stephanie's based here in London. And actually, when I started working, I worked with Steph. She gave me a kind of 6-week fast track in like classical dance. So every day we would just learn another dance. Monday would be jazz, Tuesday would be swing, Wednesday would be cha-cha, Thursday would be the Charleston, Friday would be bossa nova. Are your legs okay? We're good. We're good. It gave me I met my limits, and it gave me humility and gave me such respect for dancers as athletes. I mean, just the things they can, and the speed at which they can pick up choreography. And then we did bossa nova and polka and salsa and samba, and we did everything. And then Taylor, the Pocket Queen, and Andy Grush, our composer, and Mandy, they found a way of composing this drum track and putting this piece of music together, which I think is 7 minutes long. Wow. And has some of those rhythms in it. Like it changes from a jazz rhythm to a more Latin. I think it starts as cha-cha, and then it goes into jazz and swing, and then it goes into bossa nova and polka. It was just a magical experience. And I should also just say Annalise Basso, who plays Janice, she was Ginger Rogers. She was doing everything I was doing backwards and in heels.
Do you know what was so weird? When I came and sat in this cafe, they were playing Cheek to Cheek from Top Hat from 1935. Yeah. And I was like, this is weird. I'm in
You're in it. It's happening. Yeah, it's an amazing. I love that. I think Stephen King is trying to express something, which is that we are. He uses the Walt Whitman poem, "The Song of Myself." We contain multitudes. None of us are one thing. And for Chuck, it's that he's an accountant, and he was brilliant at maths as a child, and he got the love of maths and numbers from his grandfather, but he also loved dancing. And he's this accountant who's a beautiful dancer. But that's true of all of us. You could be a teacher who's also has a fantastic singing voice, or you could be, a judge who's a beautiful painter. Or I'm just picking things out of thin air. None of us are one thing. We're all many things. And
absolutely,
the fact that it was dancing for him was just for me personally, I've always loved it. I'd love to watch it. But I was thinking about it really specifically as dance is the body's response to music, instinctive and immediate. And we all know it when we come into the world. Like we know the language of dance before we know language. And it was just such a thrill to be able to express it really, and to approach the freedom and the joy that Chuck has in doing it.
Well, listen, there's a lot of joy in watching this film, and also just how it stays with you. It's really lovely to get the chance to chat to you both, even briefly today about it, and celebrate your wonderful performances and the film as a whole as well. Thank you so much for your time today.
Thanks, Edith.
Pleasure.
Thank you so much.